The cold wind blew softly over the green hills of Scotland. Mist hung low in the air, making the world look like a dream. Daniel Holt walked carefully over the wet grass. He was used to being alone in these hills, far from the noise of cities. After years of working as an astronaut, he had chosen a quiet life as an engineer. He liked fixing things, building machines, and living near nature. Suddenly, Daniel saw a strange light falling from the sky. It was not like any airplane or satellite he had ever seen. The light grew bigger, brighter, and then with a loud crash, something hit the ground near him. Smoke rose in a thin column, and the air smelled strange. Daniel's heart beat fast. Ran toward the crash site. The grass was burned and the earth was broken. From the wreckage, a figure moved slowly. It was a woman, but she was not like any human. She was tall and graceful. Her skin shimmered softly, like stars glowing on a dark night. Her eyes were large and deep, filled with fear and confusion. Daniel stopped a few steps away and watched her. She looked at him with hope, then suddenly dropped to her knees. She bowed her head low, her hands touching the ground. "I am lost," she said in a voice soft but clear. "Please, help me." Daniel took a deep breath. He was surprised, but felt a strong urge to help. "Are you hurt? Can you walk?" The woman nodded slowly, then struggled to stand. She moved carefully, as if her body was weak. Daniel offered his hand to support her. She took it without hesitation. "My name is Theriah," she said, her voice trembling. "I come from far away, beyond the stars." Daniel's eyes widened. He blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. "You're not from Earth?" Theriah shook her head. "No, I am alone now. My ship crashed. I have no home." Daniel looked around. The sky was still cloudy, and the forest near the hills was quiet. No one else was here to see this strange visitor. He felt a mix of fear and curiosity. "Come with me," Daniel said softly. "You can stay at my house. We will figure this out together." Theriah's face showed relief. "Thank you," she whispered. The walk to Daniel's cottage was slow. Theriah struggled to keep up but didn't complain. Daniel noticed her strange skin glowing faintly even in daylight. It made her seem otherworldly and fragile. At the small wooden house, Daniel opened the door and lit a fire. The warmth seemed to comfort Theriah. She sat quietly, watching the flames dance. "Why did you come here?" Daniel asked gently. "Why, Earth?" Theriah looked down, her hands folded. "My people. They lost a war. Machines destroyed many worlds. I escaped. Earth is a safe place. Or so I hoped." Daniel nodded slowly. "Earth has problems, but we fight hard to protect it. Maybe you can help us too." Theriah's eyes shone. "I want to help. I will do anything." Daniel smiled. "Good. But first, you need rest." Days passed. Theriah tried to learn Earth's ways. She helped Daniel with small chores, though her alien hands were not used to human tools. Sometimes she made mistakes, like burning the bread or spilling water. Daniel laughed kindly, teaching her patiently. Theriah's favorite time was when Daniel told stories about Earth's history. She was amazed that humans built great cities and flew to the moon in less than 1,000 years. "You are strong," she said one evening. "So different from my people." Daniel looked thoughtful. "We are not perfect, but we never give up." One morning, while walking outside, Theriah suddenly stopped. "I should ask you something." "Sure," Daniel replied. "In my world, when someone offers help, the other becomes their servant to repay the kindness." Theriah explained. "I want to serve you, to show my gratitude." Daniel looked surprised. "No, you don't need to do that. Here we are equals, friends." Theriah was confused but nodded. She wanted to understand this new idea. She decided to show her thanks by helping in any way she could, cleaning, cooking, fixing machines. One afternoon, Daniel watched as she tried to chop wood. She swung the axe awkwardly and missed many times. A piece of wood flew toward him, and he ducked quickly, laughing. "You need practice, he said. Theriah smiled shyly. "I will learn." Their days grew brighter with small successes and shared moments. Daniel saw that Theriah was not just an alien visitor. She was someone who believed in hope, even when she felt lost. But far above Earth, in the silent darkness of space, something moved closer. A small scouting ship scanned the planet below. Its mission was to find the lost Virilan and bring her back. The morning sun slowly climbed over the hills, casting warm light on Daniel's small cottage. Inside, the air smelled of fresh bread and the soft crackle of the fireplace. Daniel watched Theriah as she carefully carried a basket of wood into the house. Her glowing skin looked less strange now, as if she was becoming part of this quiet world. Theriah had been at Daniel's home for almost a week. Each day brought new challenges. She was learning to use Earth's tools, to speak its language more clearly, and to understand the strange customs that humans followed. She listened carefully whenever Daniel spoke, eager to learn. But there was one thing she kept thinking about: the way her people showed thanks. That morning, as Daniel repaired a broken radio, Theriah finally spoke. "Daniel," she said softly, "I want to speak with you." Daniel looked up, surprised by her serious tone. "Of course, Theriah. What is it?" In her clear voice, she said, "In my culture, when someone helps another, the person helped becomes their servant. It is a way to show respect and gratitude. I want to serve you. Please accept me as your servant." Daniel's hands froze on the radio parts. He blinked and smiled gently. "You don't have to do that." Theriah's eyes lowered. "I must. It is my honor." Daniel put down the tools and stood. He walked over to her and said, "Here on Earth we do not use servants like that. We believe everyone should be treated equally. You are my guest and my friend." Theriah looked confused. "But I am weak and lost. You saved me. I can repay by serving you." Daniel shook his head. "It's not about repayment or power. It's about kindness. If you want to help, you can help by being yourself." Theriah thought deeply. She had never heard such words. In her world, power and hierarchy were clear and strict, but Daniel's way felt strange, yet kind. "Then," she said quietly, "I will help you with work. I want to be useful." Daniel smiled. "That's all I ask." Over the next days, Theriah threw herself into learning. She swept the floor, cooked simple meals, and repaired broken tools in Daniel's workshop. She made mistakes, but Daniel never lost patience. Sometimes her alien strength surprised him. She could lift heavy stones with ease. One afternoon, Daniel asked, "Do you want to know more about Earth?" Theriah nodded eagerly. Daniel took out an old book filled with pictures and stories. He showed her images of tall buildings, oceans, and people from many different places. "Earth is a big, complicated place," he said. "People here are very different, but we all try to live together." Theriah stared at the pictures. "Your world is beautiful." Daniel smiled. "It has problems, but it also has hope." That night, as the fire burned low, Theriah spoke again. "Daniel, I want to tell you about my people. The Virilan were once strong and proud. We studied the stars, created great machines, and dreamed of peace." Her voice softened. "But a war came. The Nexari swarm. Machines that do not feel or stop. They destroyed many of our worlds. I was a science officer, trying to save knowledge and lives." Daniel listened quietly, feeling the weight of her story. "I escaped alone. I was afraid and lost. When I came to Earth, I hoped for kindness." Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. "You found kindness here." Theriah looked up, tears shining in her eyes. "Thank you." Days later, while they worked outside fixing a fence, Theriah stopped suddenly. "Daniel, I do not understand Earth people's strength." Daniel wiped sweat from his forehead. "What do you mean?" "You face many challenges. You have wars and fear, but you still fight to protect what is important. How do you do it? Daniel thought. Maybe because we have hope. Because we believe that tomorrow can be better than today. Theriah nodded slowly. In my world, hope was lost. We believed machines would win. But you survived, Daniel said. Yes, but I was alone. Daniel smiled. You're not alone anymore. Their bond grew stronger. Theriah's respect for Daniel deepened, and Daniel's admiration for her courage grew. One evening, Daniel showed her a small model rocket he had built. I once flew in real rockets, he said. I know what it feels like to look at the stars and dream. Theriah smiled. Maybe we can dream together. But far away, hidden behind the clouds and stars, a small ship moved silently. Its mission was clear. Find the lost Viralon and bring her back. The quiet peace around Daniel's home was about to change. The days passed quietly at Daniel's cottage. Theriah was growing stronger and more confident with each sunrise. She still struggled with Earth's customs and strange objects, but her determination never faded. Daniel watched her closely, admiring her patience and courage. One afternoon, as a gentle rain fell outside, Daniel and Theriah sat by the fireplace. Daniel held an old book of Earth's history. He opened the pages and showed her pictures of ancient cities, warriors, and great inventions. This is how humans lived long ago, Daniel explained. We started with simple tools, but we never stopped learning. Theriah traced the pictures with her glowing finger. You changed so much in a short time. Daniel smiled. Yes, it wasn't easy. We had wars, failures, and mistakes, but we always kept trying. Theriah looked thoughtful. Your people have great hope. Yes, Daniel said. Hope and courage. For the first time, Theriah understood something new. It was not only strength or power that made humans special. It was their heart, their will to continue even when things were hard. She asked, why does Earth hide from the galaxy? Why do you not join the United Terran Coalition? Daniel's face grew serious. Because Earth wants to stay safe. We want to grow and learn without being pulled into the galaxy's endless conflicts. Theriah nodded slowly. I understand. But your world has power too. You fight hard to protect what you love. Daniel leaned back. Yes. And sometimes that power comes from ordinary people who do great things. Theriah's eyes shone. In my world, machines destroyed many. We lost more than homes, we lost faith. Daniel reached out and took her hand gently. You still have faith, Theriah. You survived. She squeezed his hand. You teach me what it means to hope again. Days turned into weeks. Theriah began to help Daniel more confidently. She repaired broken machines, cleaned the workshop, and even tried to cook Earth food. Sometimes her meals were strange or spicy, but Daniel always thanked her warmly. One evening, Daniel invited Theriah to look through his old telescope. Together, they watched the stars. Do you think your people will find you? Daniel asked quietly. Theriah's eyes were distant. I do not know, I hope not, I want to stay here to learn, to live. Daniel smiled softly. You're welcome here always. But not all was peaceful. In the dark silence of space, a small probe moved closer to Earth. It scanned the planet carefully, searching for signs of the lost Viralon. Back on Earth, Daniel and Theriah had no idea that danger was near. One morning, as Daniel repaired a satellite dish on the roof, Theriah watched carefully. Suddenly, her sharp eyes caught a small signal on the device. Daniel, she said, something is coming. Daniel looked up. What do you mean? Theriah explained how the device showed strange signals from space, signals that did not belong to any Earth satellite. Daniel frowned. Could it be an alien ship? Theriah nodded. I think so. It might be from the Nixari swarm. Daniel's heart tightened. The Nixari swarm were the machines that destroyed her home. If they had found Earth, it could mean trouble. They decided to prepare. Daniel helped Thuraya learn how to use Earth technology to hide her presence and protect the cottage. They set up small alarms and sensors. Thuraya worked quickly, her mind sharp. She studied Earth's machines and combined them with her knowledge of Virellan science. Despite the fear, they grew closer. They shared stories of their worlds, their hopes, and their dreams. One night, Thuraya asked, "Daniel, why do humans keep fighting when the war seems endless?" Daniel looked at the stars again. "Because we believe in something better. We believe that one day, peace will come." Thuraya smiled softly. "I want to believe that too." The next day, as they tested a small drone Daniel had built, a shadow passed over the hills. Thuraya's eyes widened. "It's here." Daniel grabbed the drone controller. Together they watched as a small, silent ship moved closer. The drone flew up, shining a light on the ship. The strange vessel stopped and scanned the area. Daniel and Thuraya held their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a voice spoke from the ship's loudspeaker, cold and mechanical. Virellan detected. Surrender for retrieval. Thuraya's face hardened. "They have come for me." Daniel stepped forward. "Not while I am here." The quiet hills suddenly felt alive with tension. They both knew this was only the beginning. The small ship hovered silently just beyond the trees. Its dark metal surface reflected the fading sunlight, cold and unfeeling. Inside, unseen sensors scanned the landscape for any sign of Thuraya. The Nexari swarm had not forgotten. They had tracked her to Earth, and now their shadow stretched, close. Daniel stood beside Thuraya, his hands clenched tightly. Though he was just one man, his determination was fierce. "We have to stop them," he said quietly. "If they find you, Earth won't be safe." Thuraya nodded, her glowing eyes full of both fear and resolve. "I will help. We must act fast." Together, they moved back to the cottage. Daniel began gathering old satellite parts and electronic tools. Thuraya studied the alien technology and combined it with what she knew of Earth's machines. They worked quickly, building a small drone designed to detect and disable the Nexari probe. The drone was simple but clever, equipped with sensors and a small EMP device. Daniel explained, "The EMP will disrupt their electronics without causing damage to the environment." Thuraya admired Daniel's skill. "You are clever with machines. Your people's strength is not only in the body, but in the mind." Daniel smiled. "We have to be clever to survive." That night, under the cover of darkness, they launched the drone into the sky. It flew silently toward the scout ship, sending signals and scanning the area. The small drone was tiny but brave. The Nexari probe detected the drone and sent out a pulse. For a moment, the drone flickered. Then the EMP burst from the drone's core, hitting the probe's systems. Lights on the probe dimmed, and its sensors stopped moving. "It worked," Thuraya whispered, her voice full of hope. But the probe was not defeated yet. Suddenly, it released a smaller attack drone. It was fast and dangerous. Daniel quickly controlled their drone, dodging the attack. The two machines danced in the sky, like ghosts weaving through the stars. Thuraya held her breath. "You are good at this." Daniel grinned. "I learned from you." Finally, with a careful move, their drone disabled the smaller attacker. The Nexari probe faltered and began to drift away, losing power. Thuraya let out a long sigh. "We bought some time," Daniel nodded. "But it won't be long before they send more ships." They both knew that the danger was not over. In the following days, Daniel and Thuraya worked harder than ever. They built more drones, improved their designs, and studied Earth's old defense systems. Thuraya taught Daniel about Virellan technology, and he shared his knowledge of Earth's machines. Their partnership grew stronger. They were no longer just a human and an alien. They were a team united by hope and courage. One afternoon, as they tested a new drone, Daniel asked, "What happened to your people during the war? How did the Nexari take over?" Thuraya's face grew serious. "The Nexari are machines without feelings or mercy. They attacked many worlds to build their empire. The Virilan fought bravely, but we were not prepared for their power. Cities were destroyed, families lost. She paused, her voice softening. I lost everything. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. You still have hope now. That counts for something. Thiraya smiled faintly. With you, I feel that hope again. The threat from space pushed them forward. Daniel contacted a friend who worked in the Terran Defense Authority. They needed help, but Daniel insisted on keeping Thiraya's presence a secret for now. When the agent arrived, they brought warnings and questions. The agency wanted to take Thiraya for study. They did not understand her kindness, only her alien origin. Daniel stood firm. She is not a threat, she is a friend. The agent hesitated. We must protect Earth, but we will consider your request. Thiraya watched silently, unsure of what the future held. That night, Daniel and Thiraya sat outside under the stars. The quiet sky felt fragile, but also full of promise. We have a chance to prepare, Daniel said. To show the galaxy what Earth can do. Thiraya nodded. Together we are stronger. In the distance, the stars glimmered, hiding the silent threat of the Nexari swarm. But on Earth, two unlikely allies were ready to fight, not with fear or hate, but with courage and hope. The wind blew gently across the valley as Daniel stood at the edge of the hill, watching the sky. Beside him, Thiraya adjusted a small wrist device that tracked space signals. Her expression was calm, but inside, her heart was heavy. They will come again, she said quietly. The Nexari do not stop. Daniel nodded. I know. That's why we need Earth to decide. Thiraya looked at him. Decide what? Daniel turned toward her. To stand up. To protect you. And maybe to protect itself from something bigger than anything we've faced. That morning, Daniel had sent a secure message to Earth's world leaders. He included the drone recordings, Thiraya's story, and the evidence of the Nexari ship. He didn't ask for power or reward. He asked for help and for understanding. Later, that day a reply came. A special council wanted to meet. They requested Thiraya come with Daniel to a secure base hidden deep in the mountains. It was risky, but necessary. Thiraya hesitated. What if they don't believe me? Daniel smiled. Then we help them understand. The journey to the mountain base was long. They traveled in a quiet military aircraft, guided by a pilot who said very little. Thiraya sat by the window, her eyes following the clouds. This world is so alive, she said, so full of colors and light. Daniel looked at her. That's why it's worth protecting. At the base, they were met by guards, scientists, and generals. Thiraya felt small among them, but she stood tall. Daniel stayed close, offering quiet support. Inside a large room, a group of leaders sat around a long table. A woman with silver hair spoke first. We received your message, Mr. Daniel, and we've reviewed the footage, but we need more. Who is she truly? Thiraya stepped forward. Her voice was steady. I am Thiraya of the Virilan people. My world was destroyed by the Nexari swarm. I escaped to survive. I did not come to bring war. I came to find peace. One man frowned. And yet war follows you? Thiraya lowered her eyes. Yes. But I did not ask for it. I only asked for a chance to live and to help. Daniel added, She has helped me already. We built machines together. We defended our home. She taught me things we never imagined. Earth can learn from her, if we're willing. The room was silent for a moment. Then the woman leader asked gently, And what would you ask of Earth? Thiraya took a deep breath. Only safety, and the chance to fight if danger comes, not alone, but with you. The leader spoke in whispers for some time. Finally, the silver-haired woman turned back. You will stay under protection, she said. We will not harm you, but we need time to prepare. If the Nexari are truly coming, Earth must be ready. Thuraya bowed her head. Thank you. After the meeting, Daniel and Thuraya were shown to a small room where they could rest. As night fell, they sat by a small lamp, talking quietly. You were brave today, Daniel said. Thuraya smiled a little. I was afraid, but not like before. Not since I met you. Daniel looked thoughtful. Do you think Earth can truly fight something like the Nexari? Thuraya paused. Yes, but not just with weapons, with unity. The Nexari do not understand hope or love. That is Earth's strength. Suddenly, the base alarm rang loudly. Red lights flashed through the hallways. A voice echoed over the speakers. Unidentified. Object entering Earth's orbit. Prepare defense positions. Daniel and Thuraya looked at each other. The time had come. They rushed to the command center where large screens showed a new ship approaching from space. It was sleek and dark, clearly not human-made. A general pointed at the screen. Is this the Nexari? Thuraya's face was grim. Yes, a Scout-class warship. They are searching. Daniel stepped forward. Then let's show them Earth is not an easy target. The command room filled with energy. Pilots prepared fighters, engineers activated shields, and Thuraya joined the science team, offering advice on how to weaken Nexari sensors. Together, humans and an alien worked side by side. Hours later, as the enemy ship entered Earth's atmosphere, it faced something it did not expect: resistance. Earth's defenses fired warning shots. Thuraya's advice allowed them to jam the enemy's scanners. The Nexari ship hesitated, scanned, and without a fight turned back. Cheers echoed through the base. Earth had made its first stand. Daniel turned to Thuraya. We did it, she nodded. No, you did it. You believed in me when no one else would, Daniel smiled. And now the world believes too. But far beyond Earth, in the dark silence of space, more Nexari ships stirred. The fight was far from over, yet Earth had chosen its path, and Thuraya was no longer alone. The morning after the Nexari scout ship retreated, the mountain base was full of movement. Scientists studied data, soldiers checked weapons, and engineers repaired damaged systems. But deep inside the command center, Daniel and Thuraya sat quietly, watching a repeating signal flashing on the screen. It had come from the Nexari ship, short, strange, and coded. What does it mean? Daniel asked. Thuraya narrowed her glowing eyes. It's a warning to the others. They've marked Earth. Daniel frowned. So they'll come back, with more ships? She nodded slowly. Yes, and not to scan. Next time they will attack. A quiet fell between them. They both knew Earth's victory was only a small one. The real test had yet to come. Later that day, Daniel was called to speak to the council again. He stood before the same table, but this time, everyone was more serious. They understood the danger now. We must prepare, said the silver-haired leader. We've lived in peace too long. Earth has to become strong again. Daniel agreed. Then, we start now, and Thuraya will help. Some of the leaders still looked unsure. One of them asked, Can we really trust her? Daniel stood tall. She's risked her life to warn us. She's more loyal to Earth than most of us. Another general added, We saw how her knowledge helped us disable the Nexari ship. That alone saved lives. At last they agreed. Earth would form a special task force, humans and Thuraya working together to build defenses. They called it Project Dawnfire, named after the first light before battle. Thuraya became an advisor to the team. She shared knowledge about Virilan shields, energy weapons, and stealth technology. Though her heart was still healing, she found strength in helping Earth grow. Daniel, too, played a big role. He led a group of engineers to build faster drones and smart defenses using Thuraya's designs. He worked day and night, barely sleeping, his mind focused on one goal: protecting Earth. But one evening, as Daniel walked through the quiet halls of the base, he found Thuraya standing alone by a window. She looked up at the stars. What are... You thinking about? He asked gently. She didn't turn. My people. My home. I wonder if anyone else survived. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. If they did, we'll find them. After this, we'll search together. Theriah turned to him. And if I'm the last? Daniel smiled softly. Then you've already built a new home here. The stars blinked in silence. Somewhere out there, the Nexari were planning their next move. But here, in this quiet moment, hope still lived. Weeks passed. Project Dawnfire moved quickly. Earth's satellites were upgraded. Bases were reinforced. Theriah even helped design a new communication signal to warn nearby systems of danger. But one day, something unexpected happened. A new signal came, one that Theriah instantly recognized. It's Virelan, she gasped. Someone else survived. Everyone rushed to the main screen. A shaky message played, showing a damaged Virelan ship in deep space. A voice spoke. This is Captain Orion of the Virelan Resistance. We send this in hope. If you hear us, we need aid. The Nexari are hunting us, coordinates attached. The message ended. The room was silent. Daniel looked at Theriah. Her hands trembled. It's real, she whispered. My people are alive. The leaders debated. Sending help would be risky. The Nexari could trace them. But Daniel stood up. We have to go. This is a chance to save lives and to bring allies. After careful planning, a small Earth ship was chosen for the mission. It was fast, quiet, and equipped with Virelan tech. Theriah insisted on going, and Daniel refused to let her go alone. As they prepared for the journey, many came to wish them luck. Engineers, soldiers, and even leaders saluted them. You are carrying Earth's first step into the galaxy, the silver-haired leader said. Make us proud. Theriah bowed. We will. The launch was silent and smooth. In the quiet of space, Daniel looked out at the stars. Theriah sat beside him, her eyes glowing with determination. We're really doing this, he said. She nodded. For Earth, for Virella, for everyone the Nexari have hurt. Their ship moved past the moon and into deep space. As the stars grew brighter, so did their courage. They had no idea what they would find at the end of the journey. Friends, danger, or both. But they were ready. For the first time, Earth was not hiding. It was reaching out, not with fear, but with hope. And two brave souls were leading the way. The stars outside the ship looked cold and endless. As the small Earth Virelan vessel moved through space, Daniel and Theriah sat quietly in the cockpit. The signal from the Virelan resistance had grown weaker, but it still pulsed, like a heartbeat, distant but alive. Estimated time to contact. 2 hours, Theriah said, checking the display. Daniel looked over. Still no response? She shook her head. No, I fear their power is almost gone. The thought made Daniel uneasy. What if they arrived too late? What if the Nexari had already found them? But he said nothing. He didn't want to break Theriah's hope. After everything she had lost, this mission meant more than survival. It meant a second chance. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the screen. Unidentified ship detected, Theriah said quickly. Daniel sat forward. Is it Virelan? She checked the codes. No, it's Nexari. The ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel just minutes from the Virelan coordinates. A black Nexari hunter ship now blocked their path. We've been followed, Theriah whispered. They must have tracked the original message. Daniel's jaw tightened. We need a plan. The Nexari ship began charging weapons. Theriah activated their stealth shields, but the small Earth ship was not built for long battles. We can't win a full fight, she said. But we can distract them. Maybe give the Virelan survivors time to escape. Daniel didn't like the idea of running. We're not leaving you behind. Theriah looked at him, her eyes soft but steady. Then we both stay, and we fight. As the enemy ship drew closer, Daniel activated the drones they had hidden in the cargo bay. Tiny but powerful, the drones launched and flew in formation, targeting the Nexari ship's sensors. "Let's blind them," Daniel said. The first blast lit up the darkness, and the drones hit their mark. Sparks flew from the Nexari ship, and its targeting systems glitched. Thuraya used the moment to send a coded message to the Virilan coordinates. "Enemy present. Escape now. We will hold them." Then, out of nowhere, another signal appeared. "Multiple ships incoming." "Thuraya," said alarmed. Daniel looked at her. "Nexari reinforcements?" "No," she said slowly. "Virilan and Earth." The screen lit up with friendly ships, a group of damaged Virilan fighters and 2 Earth military craft sent secretly by the Council. Project Dawnfire had sent help. "Looks like they believed in us after all," Daniel said with a grin. The space around them burst into battle. Virilan ships fought beside Earth ships. Daniel's drones joined in, zipping through enemy fire. Thuraya took control of the ship's weapons and struck the Nexari hunter ship's engines. One of the Earth commanders spoke through the comm. "We have your signal. Protect the survivors. We'll handle the rest." Thuraya's voice was calm, but firm. "Understood." They reached the Virilan escape ship, a small broken vessel hiding behind a moon. Daniel carefully guided their ship closer. Inside, they found a handful of Virilan survivors, tired, wounded, but alive. Among them was Captain Orion, the one who had sent the message. "Thuraya?" the captain said in disbelief. "You survived?" She smiled, tears in her eyes. "And I found help." They quickly brought the survivors aboard. Outside, the last Nexari ship was fleeing. The battle was won, for now. Back on Earth, the world watched the news of the mission. People saw images of Thuraya fighting beside humans, of Earth ships defending Virilans, and of the Nexari turning back. For the first time, humanity truly saw the stars not as something to fear, but as something they could reach. At the mountain base, Thuraya and Daniel stood before the Council again. But this time, it was different. "You've done more than we expected," the silver-haired leader said. "You've helped us understand the galaxy better, and you've shown that Earth is not alone." Daniel smiled. "This is only the beginning." Thuraya stepped forward. "There are more worlds out there, more people like us who need help. Together we can protect them." The Council agreed. Project Dawnfire would grow into something more, a peaceful alliance to defend life from the Nexari threat. A week later, Thuraya stood on a cliff beside Daniel. The sky above them was full of stars. "My people are safe now," she said. "Thanks to you." Daniel shook his head. "Thanks to us." She looked at him with gratitude. "You gave me a home, Daniel, a reason to keep going." He looked into her eyes. "And you gave Earth something even more important, hope." The wind blew softly. Far above, satellites spun and stars shimmered. The Nexari were still out there. But so were Earth and the Virilans. Together they would be ready. In the silence of space, humanity had made its mark, not by conquering, but by standing strong beside those who needed help. And from that day forward, the stars would remember Earth not just as a planet, but as a home of heroes.